The countdown to the start of spring break is underway, but some members of the tech community are rethinking their plans as the cost of gas continues to rise. Coming up, we'll have a look at the latest local prices and what you can expect if you're hitting the road.
For 10 years, one of Texas Tech's most recognizable mascots has made his way across football fields, miles of highway, and dozens of cities and towns as the symbol of university. MCTV's Patricia Perry brings us on a personal perspective on the end of an era for Tech's Masked Rider program.
And the men's and women's basketball teams are both starting their run in the Big 12 tournament tonight in Kansas City. MCTV's Nathan Boles has a wrap-up of the regular season along with details on both teams' first round matchups in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm MaKayla Glenn.
And I'm Paris Matthews.
The official start to spring break 2022 is only one day away, and even though many students are ready to hit the road, a recent spike in gas prices may be changing some people's holiday plans. Back in February, the cost per gallon began to rise slowly, but prices took off at the end of the month following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russia is one of the largest worldwide oil producers. After the war began, many countries began placing sanctions on Russia, leading to the original spike in costs. And on Tuesday, President Biden enacted a ban on all oil imports from Russia, causing prices to continue to soar. According to GasBuddy.com, the average nationwide gas price is currently $4.36 a gallon. That's up nearly 10 cents from 2 days ago and almost a full dollar since mid-February. Locally, Lubbock area gas stations are averaging $3.90 a gallon, with the lowest price sitting at $3.69 at local warehouse stores such as Sam's Club and Costco. According to Gas Buddy, the highest local prices have now reached over $4 per gallon at some stores. Here in Texas, the average price officially rose to above $4 per gallon this morning. According to AAA.com, the lowest prices statewide are currently found here on the South Plains and up through the Texas Panhandle. The average across most of the rest of the state appears to be above $4, with some of the highest prices found in far west Texas and in the DFW area. If you're planning on driving during the spring break holiday, you can keep up with the latest average prices as well as find cheapest options along your route by visiting GasBuddy.com.
Even with the increase in gas prices, many students are still sticking with their plans to leave town, but others are just taking some time to relax here in Lubbock. Either way, almost everyone agrees that it's time for a break. MCTV talked to some students here on campus to see how they plan to enjoy the week-long holiday.
That I get to rest because I have midterms right after spring break, so.
We're actually going to go to Disney in Florida and just go into the parks and stay at the hotels.
Plans for spring break, I'm just going to stay here. Parents are going to come in to town and we're just going to have a great time here in Lubbock, Texas.
Spring Break 2022 officially starts tomorrow afternoon at the conclusion of Friday evening classes. This year marks the first scheduled week-long holiday for students since COVID-19 led to the end of in-person instruction back in March of 2020. Last year, students were only able to enjoy one day off in place of their traditional spring holiday after the university pushed back the start of the spring semester in hopes of curbing the spread of the coronavirus.
Right now, many students are packing their vehicles and going through final checklists before heading out on the highway. With that in mind, one department held the spring edition of one of their most popular events to make sure everyone's cars were in tip-top shape. Transportation and Parking Services hosted the Spring Car Clinic yesterday in the Commuter West parking lot. The event ran from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and it was free for all faculty, staff, and students. Mechanics from Scott's Complete Car Care were on hand to check and make sure every vehicle was ready to travel. TPS hosts a car clinic every year before spring break to help keep the tech community safe and avoid unnecessary stops during the holiday.
You know, you don't want to be driving down the highway and you didn't check your air pressure and your tire pops, or your fluid levels are a little low and you're on the side of the highway and you need help.
The Spring Car Clinic is one of 2 free vehicle checkups offered by the university each year. TPS also hosts a fall clinic that takes place during the week before Thanksgiving each November.
Spring break marks the official midpoint of the semester, and that also means midterm exams and projects for many students. Even though next week's holiday will be a great chance to escape schoolwork, students also had another chance to let off some steam before leaving campus. Relaxation Day took place yesterday outside the sub. During the event, the Student Activities Board offered a free Orbeez oxygen bar and invited some shelter dogs to campus to interact with students. This point in the semester can be very hard for many students with the stress of midterms, and SAB scheduled yesterday's event to help students to take a break from their coursework.
Ease the stress and relax a little bit, because I know midterms are stressful. They are for me. So just kind of relax a little bit.
Students stopping by yesterday's event also had a chance to put in some volunteer hours and help create dog beds that will be given to local animal shelters. Like all SAB events, all of yesterday's Relaxation Day activities were free with a student ID. SAB's calendar of fun and free events will be back in full swing after spring break. For a list of future events, visit sab.ttu.edu. Students heading to 8 a.m. classes today were in for a chilly surprise, with temperatures dropping into the 20s overnight and wind chills in the single digits.
If today's weather caught you off guard, you might be in for even more surprises tomorrow morning if you're headed to on-campus classes. So what else is in store for the Lubbock area? Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. The sun is shining brightly on the MCTV tower cam this afternoon, but even with the sunshine, temperatures haven't improved much from this morning's sub-freezing conditions. Highs are slowly climbing into the upper 40s, but that's as warm as it'll get between now and this weekend. Overnight, temperatures will fall back into the 20s and clouds will begin moving across the area as a storm front heads our way. The wind will also continue to be a factor, making it feel much colder by early morning. But the big story for tomorrow is the chance of some wintry precipitation that could bring snow back to the area. Flurries could start around 9 a.m. and last until noon. The snow is not expected to stick, but it could lead to ice and dangerous travel conditions, as temperatures should stay below freezing until the late afternoon. The wind will also continue to be a factor, with wind chills staying in the single digits and teens until at least noon. Luckily, tomorrow's winter weather should be short-lived, with a rebound in temperatures by Saturday afternoon. We'll also see a lot of sunshine in place of tomorrow's clouds, but the wind could still be a factor. Sunday will bring warmer conditions, with highs reaching nearly 70 degrees before sunset. Sunday will also mark the beginning of daylight savings time, with clocks bringing forward and the sun staying up 1 hour longer. Looking ahead, students sticking around the Lubbock area will have to make it through a possible dust storm to start the week. But after that, the South Plains area looks to be in for sunshine and some of the warmest weather we've seen so far this year.
Texas Tech is known for several long-running traditions that are recognized by both fans and non-fans around the country. But there are few traditions that are more iconic than Tech's masked riders and their dark-haired, four-legged companions.
MCTV's Patricia Perry recently had a chance to visit with this year's masked rider and her faithful steed. As she rides her way into history books, Patricia?
Thanks, MaKayla and Paris. Since 2013, Fearless Champion has been the official horse for the masked rider at Texas Tech. Now he is in his final season. After years of traveling and representing the university, Fearless Champion is set to retire this summer. The 60th masked rider says she feels so lucky for his last year to be the year she got to share with him.
And be able to share your year with a horse like Fearless, and to be able to have his last year be your year as well, and you understand the significance of the moment and what an honor it is to have been the last rider to run him at the Jones.
Adam says football games are an experience like no other. Throughout the excitement, the nerves, and the long hours, she knows he is by her side.
And it's a bond unlike anything. I mean, you put in 80-hour weeks and he's right there alongside you.
Many love Fearless, and not just because he is a Texas Tech staple. Anywhere Fearless goes, he spreads smiles.
Fearless is absolutely amazing. His personality just shines through no matter what appearance you're at, no matter what circumstance you're at.
Adam says they get welcomed everywhere they go. People are always so excited when they see him in Lubbock and out of Lubbock.
The love that people have for him is incredible.
It takes a special horse to do what he does. Adam says Fearless raised the expectations for horses to come.
It takes a 1 in a million horse to do this job, and he's a 2 in a million.
Everyone in the Texas Tech community and beyond will miss Fearless. Adams says she knows his retirement will be filled with lots of love and treats. Back to you.
Thanks, Patricia. Tomorrow may be the start of spring break for most of the Texas Tech community, but for Tech athletics, it's just another weekend of action during the busiest time of the year.
But unlike most weekends, 4 Tech teams have the chance to bring championship trophies home to the hub city. MCTV's Nathan Boles has a look at those stories along with a wrap-up of the latest action from the Diamond in Sports. Nathan?
Thanks, Paris and MaKayla. Texas Tech baseball had a tough test on the road this week against Mississippi State, who won the national title last season. On Tuesday, the Red Raiders had some great plays from star second baseman Jace Young, including a highlight reel catch in the first inning and a home run in the 8th. But the Mississippi State bats got going in the 4th inning, scoring 9 runs on their way to an 11-5 win. Tech got it back on Wednesday as third baseman Parker Kelly hit his 3rd grand slam of the season. He's the first Red Raider to hit 3 grand slams in a season since Cameron Blair in 2005. Tech got the win on Wednesday 7-2. Tech will stay on the road this weekend to play Rice in a 3-game series in Houston. It starts Friday at 7 p.m. Both Texas Tech basketball teams are in Kansas City for the Big 12 basketball tournament. On Monday, the Red Raiders' Bryson Williams was named to both the Big 12 Conference and AP Big 12 teams as a first-team pick. The AP Big 12 poll also named Mark Adams as Big 12 Coach of the Year. On Tuesday, Adams talked about how they'll treat the Big 12 tournament.
But we want to, take this this Big 12 as a practice tournament for the NCAA tournament. So we're really looking at trying to, do our best, play our best, and I think we'll be healthy too. I think this is the first time we're going to have everybody back in uniform and ready to go.
Meanwhile, the Lady Raiders finished with just 4 wins in conference play. Led by first-team All-Big 12 selection Vivian Gray, they'll try to make a run to win the Big 12 tournament and steal an NCAA bid. The Lady Raiders play their first round tonight at 5:30 against Oklahoma State on ESPN+. The Red Raiders got a first-round bye as the 3rd seed, and their quarterfinal is tonight at 8:30 against Iowa State on ESPN2. This Sunday is Selection Sunday for both the men's and women's NCAA tournaments, and March Madness can finally begin. Texas Tech Track and Field is in Birmingham, Alabama for the NCAA Indoor Championships. Both the men's and women's teams are ranked in the top 10 in the country and both finished 2nd at the Big 12 Championships 2 weeks ago. Jacoby Shelton is in both the 60-meter and 200-meter races. Ruth DeSoro, not pictured here, is a defending triple jump champion and is also in the long jump. Texas Tech has 11 entries in the men's field, tied for the most with Arkansas. They also have 9 entries in the women's field. The championships start at 10 a.m. on ESPN3. Texas Tech softball will stay in Lubbock on both weekends of spring break. They're coming off a 3-2 weekend in Lubbock at the Janine McCaney Memorial Classic. First baseman Ellie Bailey has at least 1 RBI in the last 7 games, and they're looking to rebound from a tough 11-3 loss to end the tournament on Sunday to North Texas. First is a Texas Tech Invitational against Tulsa and Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Their tournament will start Saturday at 1:30 p.m. against Tulsa at Rocky Johnson Field. All of Tech's games are also on ESPN+. That's all for sports. Back to you, Paris and MaKayla.
Thanks, Nathan. So, MaKayla, do you have any big plans for spring break?
Well, I'm excited. I'm heading back to Arlington, Texas, and just going to spend time with family and friends.
That sounds awesome. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekly Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. Have a great spring break.